Senator, Professor, the Honorable Prakash Prasad, Emeritus, Minister of Tertiary Education and Skills Training, Professor Selwyn R. Kojo, ORTT, Executive Chairman, Board of Governors, UTT, Ms. Erica Fortune, Acting Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Tertiary Education and Skills Training, Dr. Colwick M. Wilson, President, the University of the Southern Caribbean, Professor Rian Mirage, Acting President, UTT, Professor Donny Budlal, Vice President, Research, Academic and Student Affairs, UTT, Professor Adele Elgamal, Assistant Vice President, Postgraduate Studies at UTT, Dr. Solange Kelly, Assistant Vice President, Undergraduate Studies, Mr. Rajdev Sinanan, Advisor to the Minister of Tertiary Education and Skills Training, Dr. Edward Cumberbatch, Assistant Professor and Program Leader for Foundation and Prior Learning, Ms. Keisha Dano, Senior Instructor, Manufacturing and Entrepreneurship at UTT, Senior Academic and Corporate Staff, specially invited guests, awardees, staff, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to UTT Excellence Award Ceremony 2026. I am your host, Master of Ceremony. My name is Roy Manzano, Corporate Secretary, and I'm honored to fulfill this obligation to you this morning. The Excellence Awards recognize those individuals from our academic community who make invaluable contributions to UTT in teaching and research, impacting the academic advancement of their students, peers, academic units, and themselves. This awards ceremony is indeed a special one for us today, and a combined celebration. This year, we celebrate the third cycle of the Excellence in Teaching Awards and the first cycle of the Excellence in Research Awards. And I want to congratulate the academic and by the next cycle, Mr. Minister, we'll have a third segment, Excellence in Service Award. And by then, Mr. President, we should have a whole day where we can observe and celebrate excellence in teaching, excellence in research, and excellence in service. Certainly it deserves a day off. This award is merely a token recognition, but rather a rigorous collegiate competition that embodies excellence in teaching and research, together with all the scholarly activities that exemplify excellence at the University of Trinidad and Tobago. Winners of the Excellence in Teaching Awards are those exceptional academics who demonstrated a strong sense of commitment to the craft of teaching and learning, a strong drive to academic and professional development in their subject areas, and a strong sense of responsibility to academic success of all their students. Winners in the Excellence in Research Award are those exceptional academics who demonstrated significant potential and innovation in their research, impactful research contributions, and sustained and significant research excellence. The Excellence in Teaching Award process entails an evaluation matrix with input of 4 key metrics and sources of data measurements. The matrix were evaluated within a framework of performance components and success indicators. Nominees were then required to prepare and submit expertly crafted portfolios of their work, which would then be reviewed and scrutinized within that evaluation matrix. This rigorous process was designed to filter and extract the nominees whose work best reflects excellence in teaching for their academic fraternity here at UTT. The award process was executed in two parts, at the program level and at the institution level. At the program level, faculty nominees were measured against an evaluation framework specific to their respective programs. The successful program level winners were then invited to compete at the institutional level, where a final international winner emerged. The Excellence in Research Award process also entails a rigorous evaluation process, which examines outstanding research achievements that align with UTT's strategic goals and national development priorities within an evaluation framework of innovation, dedication, and impact in the related field. The following award categories included the most outstanding, the most promising student researcher, that is for emerging MPhil and PhD researchers, excellence in research, early careers for academic staff at the assistant professor level, and we have excellence in research at the associate professor and professorial level. So today, I want you to relax, enjoy, and hear what UTT has to offer. We're going to share with you our research agenda. And coming to bring greetings to us today, I have the pleasure in welcoming our esteemed acting president, Professor Rian Mirage. Please welcome him.
Please allow me to stand on protocols previously observed by Mr. Darwin Monzano, our Corporate Secretary, UTT, and our Master of Ceremonies today. Mr. Monzano did an excellent job in summarizing the mechanics involved in the evaluation process that was employed in the selection of our awardees today. So thank you very much to Mr. Monzano for enlightening us in that area. So good afternoon and welcome to our very beautiful Tamana campus. Good afternoon all, welcome. Right? Today's a day of celebration, right? Okay, it is my distinct honor as acting president of the University of Trinidad and Tobago to welcome you warmly to our Excellence in Teaching and Excellence in Research Award ceremony. Today we gather to celebrate excellence in teaching and research, two key pillars that define UTT and its contribution to Trinidad and Tobago. But while we celebrate excellence in teaching and research today, we recognize that these achievements are strengthened by service, as it is this integrated contribution that defines UTT as a responsive and impactful national university. This ceremony reflects not only individual achievement, but the collective impact of a national university committed to preparing graduates and staff who are skilled, thoughtful, and ready to contribute to our nation's development. At the onset, I wish to extend warm welcome to our specially invited guests from the Ministry of Tertiary Education and Skills Training, Senator Professor the Honorable Prakash Prasad, Emeritus, Minister of Tertiary Education and Skills Training. Welcome home, Honorable Minister. Mr. Rajiv Sinanan, Advisor to the Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, your presence today and your ongoing work by you and your ministry to strengthen tertiary education are invaluable to UTT, as well as our other brother and sister institutions under the ministry and to national development. I wish to pay special tribute to Professor Selwyn R. Kojo, ORTT, Executive Chairman of the UTT Board of Governors, who has dedicated over 50 years to teaching and scholarship in Trinidad and Tobago and globally. His vision and guidance, alongside the Board of Governors, are shaping UTT into the institution we celebrate today. And I will add that Professor Kojo, our chairman, is doing an excellent job. I extend greetings, yes, we give him a round of applause. Yes. I extend greetings to our esteemed guests from other institutions. Dr. Colwick Wilson, President, University of Southern Caribbean. Welcome, sir. Ms. Julie David, Acting President, NEHUS. Welcome, ma'am. Your presence as brother and sister institutions is a testament to the collaboration, cooperation, and harmonization that strengthen our educational and research landscape. We hope that this marks the continuation of a synergistic relationship that advances nation building in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, excellence at UTT is a collective achievement. We recognize our senior staff who are here today, including Professor Donny Budlal, Vice President, Research, Academic and Student Affairs, Professor Adel Al-Gamal, Assistant Vice President, Postgraduate Studies, Dr. Solange Kelly, Assistant Vice President, Undergraduate Studies. I also wish to specifically acknowledge Professor Adel Al-Gamal and Dr. Solange Kelly for their leadership, dedication, and commitment in developing and executing these initiatives along with their respective teams. We also acknowledge our colleagues from executive management, our program leaders, academic and non-academic staff, our event organizers, judges, coordinators, whose dedication makes occasions like these possible. Now, at UTT, our students are at the heart of everything we do. Their leadership shapes our university's community, our initiatives, and culture. Today, we proudly acknowledge Mr. Ajay Balkisoon, President, Executive Student Guild, and Ms. Karina Nanan, Executive Postgraduate Representative. We truly value the contributions of our student body. Your leadership, their leadership, ensures that students remain central to UTT's mission, strengthening the vibrancy, engagement, and impact of our university. Most importantly today, we honor our participants and especially our award recipients. Your commitment to teaching, research, and service exemplifies the highest standards of excellence at UTT. Now, just permit me to just say a few words on teaching and research impact. At UTT, teaching is transformative. Our programs are designed not only to deliver knowledge, but to cultivate critical thinking, creativity, problem solving, and entrepreneurial skills to our students. Many programs benefit from external examiners from internationally reputable institutions who constantly commend UTT for high standards in curriculum design, pedagogy, assessment, and quality assurance. As you know, several of our programs hold international accreditation, such as the Institute of Chemical Engineers, Energy Institute, to name a few, confirming that our teaching meets globally recognized benchmarks. Our students can leave our shores and go to foreign countries and enjoy the same recognition as they do at home. Similarly, research at UTT is purposeful and impactful. Our faculty tackle real-world challenges in energy transition, environmental management, climate resilience, regional sustainability, arts and culture, and sports. Through innovation, entrepreneurship, and commercialization of ideas, and I stress the word commercialization, our research generates practical solutions that benefit industries, communities, and our nation as a whole. UTT scholars are increasingly visible internationally, producing over 100 peer-reviewed publications in the last 2 years alone. In fact, among today's excellence in research participants, more than 30 publications were produced within that period. That says a lot, 30 within that period amongst those who participated. That's significant. I know today when you look at the newspaper, you see all these ranking indices, right? We have not subscribed to any to be ranked, but I took a look at the AD Scientific Index, where I saw our scholars ranking prominently with 16 of the top 20 researchers in Trinidad and Tobago from UTT. That is remarkable, right? This underscores the impact, visibility, and relevance of UTT's knowledge creation. I want to add a little thing on grants and consultancies. Our research impact extends beyond academia. Our grants and consultancies portfolio grew up to $45.1 million last year. $45.1 million, reflecting both strengthened research capacity and increased national and regional engagement. Through applied projects, our faculty address changes in energy, environment, climate resilience, arts and culture, and regional development, ensuring that the knowledge we generate directly benefits industries, communities, and our nation. I would like to emphasize that these initiatives also support innovation, entrepreneurship, and the commercialization of ideas, demonstrating UTT's role as a solution-driven institution with tangible impact. Our grants and consultancy portfolio also plays an important role in strengthening financial sustainability of the university. University is creating alternative revenue streams while contributing meaningfully to national and regional development. And Honorable Minister, I'm very confident, Chairman would agree that in the near future you'll be seeing a lot with regards to commercialization and revenue generation. Doesn't mean that we would, endure a budget cut, but we mean more. Yes. Yeah. We need more money to drive this commercialization, right? So, as I conclude, collectively, these achievements reflect UTT's sustained focus on excellence across teaching, research, innovation, and national impact. While we are only 20 years into our journey, our trajectory compares favorably with universities twice our age. At UTT, youth is an advantage when combined with strategic focus, quality assurance, and commitment to relevance and impact. As we celebrate excellence today, let us reaffirm our shared commitment to advancing UTT's mission, ensuring that the teaching we deliver, the research we pursue, and the service we provide continue to benefit our students, our communities, and our nation. Once again, congratulations to all our awardees. Your dedication sets the standard inspires our colleagues, and embodies the very best of UTT. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor, Acting President Professor Maraj, for that excellent presentation. Certainly, and I know that is just the beginning. We could stay all day and talk about the excellent accomplishment, achievement that we have done in our mere 20 years of existence. We are moving along with our excellence, and I have an excellent person to introduce to you today. Our Executive Chairman, Professor Selwyn Kojo, UTT, will address us. And as he comes, we have an introduction. So,
keeping a good family name is a commitment to honor, integrity, and the legacy passed down through generations from father to son. Right? Listening, a father talk to his son, telling him, son, let's have a conversation. Life is like a relay, but son, you're going down the wrong way. Please, listen, you hear what I say. I make sure you get education, discipline, to grow up with ambition. But every day you're on the block lineman, telling me you're enjoying living, that you're young and you don't need no counseling. But in this community, everybody know me as a respectable man. Always give a helping hand. The people complaining of the things that you're doing. Son, I'm talking to you. It's only trouble that you're caught in. Don't spoil my name, don't spoil my name. Son, I'm telling you plain. Don't spoil my name, don't spoil my name. I'm telling you again and again. Crime doesn't pay.
All right. Those spoil be name. Those spoil be name. Ricky Jai, our old man about all the business and so on and so on. But before I begin, I'm pleased to address you this afternoon. Sometimes you call it your inaugural. Normally, patterns are in other institutions, most institutions, when one is elected a certain position, there's a maiden address and getting the people to know who they are. But I thought this evening, first of all, having all protocols observed, that's the big word. But I have to say that, but I could not start without acknowledging the leader of our team. Quiet, purposeful, but he's there as a rock keeping us going. And so first of all, Mr. President, our Line Minister Prasad is here, and we want to thank you for your leadership, sir. I want something, everybody quiet and all kinds. And then we have my president, who has been a rock. Now, it's great to come into an institution, but it's also great to have someone who is the institutional archive of that institution, who knows the ins and the outs and whose guidance and whose leadership keep everybody focused. So in spite of having all protocols, what is the word? Give me the word now, observe. So I'm pleased to address this academic function. Excellence in Teaching awards this function, which is very important. Pleased to address these teachers and researchers of this important institution who have demonstrated exceptional dedication, innovation, and pedagogy, as in fact the award citations suggest. I've been asked to offer some remarks, it may be a little too much remarks, but I thought it was a marvelous occasion when so many people are gathered to sort of outline where we think our organization should be going and to share with you the importance of these awards by doing what I think that in honoring these students and these professors of this great institution, that I should say a few things about what I think excellence in teaching is, for the very serious reason. I see Mr. Dr. David Alexander there looking very splendid for us. Say hi to the fellow, he's going to be one of our awardees. In terms of what my thoughts are, I thought I should use the opportunity, since nobody seems to know who I am. So I get a word from Kamala because I know she. But I thought, but that's what they say. Oh, let's bite all the top, and that's what they say. Not so, Miss Desha. No, she doesn't know. And I thought I should sort of introduce myself for you and say that I understand, because I've been in the bowels of education for the past 50 years. I want to be sure that we understand what the university does, but more importantly, folks seem to understand who or what I am. And since I'm addressing you for the first time in my capacity as your executive chairman, I thought I would congratulate you for your sterling achievements, of which you ought to be proud. Do not be boastful, but should always retain that quiet confidence that you are among the best in the world, and what you do, and that what should goad you on to higher heights, as the Rastas say, is that sense of knowing that I am the best. If you do not acknowledge that, then no one else will. As I share in the pride of your achievement, I thought I would use this opportunity to share my ideas about education, the importance of having great teachers and researchers, and the profound impact that good teachers have on making any university great and important. After teaching at the heart of one of the important universities for the last 50 years, I started at Fordham in 1970 as an assistant professor, as how years, Mr. Mathematician. And this is one reason I feel I've earned the right to share my teaching and scholarly experience with you today. UTT opened its doors in 2004, picking up from where Trinidad and Tobago Institute of Technology left off. It is something that I recorded in my booklet, Trinidad and Tobago Institute of Technology, a record exposed in 2003. I won't share the information, only to say that I've been here from the inception, and the one thing about a good researcher, he keeps his records and his research there all the time, so you could pull it anytime you want to. However, as early as 1980, while I was an assistant professor at Harvard University, I addressed the members of the academic community on one simple topic, which was a national-wide lecture carried over radio and television, not television, sorry, radio. And the piece I offered then, as early as 1980, was a piece called What I Teach and Why, in the Harvard Education Review, and which, of course, was published thereafter. And in that, among other things, I said I wouldn't do the whole quotation. Just want to know who I am, that's all. I said I teach Afro-American literature because I'm trained in the area of literature, because it is the literature of my people. When one speaks about Afro-American literature, one speaks about literary experiences of an entire group. And like all great literature, it is nothing more than a human document which reflects the historical content of any age. As a pedagogical tool, because we talk a lot about pedagogy and research, it means trying to grasp the nature of physical and emotional reality. As such, Afro-American literature mirrors the life of Afro-American peoples, showing how they live, how they were treated by their oppressors, how they transformed themselves and were transformed. It's a dialectic over time, and the various forms which they have used to capture the essential feature of their ontological being. As we know, man shall not live by bread alone. Man is not merely the corpuscles and the muscles. There's something called consciousness, which no machine, be it AI, is AI the big thing all using now? Could never capture the, oh, I was looking to see Mr. I'm trying to get the name. She's laughing there. Huh? Yes, anyhow, could capture, and it's a book that came out about 2 weeks ago on the whole nature of consciousness, and where with all the AI, nothing, it will change things. But we know that technology from its inception has always changed things. It comes at different levels, but and it even changes one's cognition. That is how we know. You look at a little boy now, you ask for their phone numbers, they go to the little business, 8 and 9. Because the nature of cognition is always changed. I went on to say, and this is the important point, which I will not elaborate, in terms of my own pedagogy, since we're talking about teaching and research, and I argued in my piece, I see truth as central to any discussion about pedagogy, and the process of arriving at that truth as a central function of my method. Therefore, I begin my teaching what I call the threefold synthesis of truth, which I went on to explain. In other words, and I shall develop it, I won't develop it here at some other occasion when they allow me to speak. I will get into that question of methodology. They don't allow me to speak here, but I'm glad for this occasion. In 1986, after leaving Harvard University as an assistant professor, I became a professor of Africana Studies at Wellesley College. In June 2001, that's why I know the gratitude, what you feel when you win that award, when they reward you for the things that you do. You're going to get a big award out there, I understand you got a big award today. In June 2001, I was awarded the Anna and Samuel Penang Stalwart, and just you see there that I was awarded that very distinguished award for excellence in teaching. Part of President Paula Johnson's commendation reads as follows. She's the president. It says, more than 3 decades at Wellesley College, Professor Cudjoe has left an indelible impression on students. He is known as an honest, encouraging, and exacting teacher who pushes students to question their biases and assumptions. If you don't push students to think, we could talk about critical thinking, but you must always push students and your colleagues to think. And they go on to say, students admire his love for the history and culture of the peoples of African diaspora, his passion for the authors he teaches, and what we call his Socratic method. For those of us who I know, I just remember Socrates, you know the fellow down there with among the Greeks, or what was he? But of course, the Socratic method, just by way of our explanation, is a student-centered, and I know it's very important that Dr. Maharaj keeps on insisting that we are student-oriented, and we must be student-oriented. Without your students, you are nothing. You cannot teach to yourself. You cannot speak to yourself. And through communications, that's how you begin to realize your truth. You can't buy upon a truth. They talk about truth. You don't know upon a truth? You arrive at truth through discourse and discussion. The varied points of views. None of us have the truth. We arrive at the truth through discussion and debate, disagreeing as we might. But don't tell me I have any pong or truth you're going to give me and somebody says it. So that's really what the Socratic method is, a student-centered, dialogue-based teaching approach that uses continuous probing questions to challenge assumptions, foster critical thinking, and guide learners to their own conclusions. So it's a process always. It's never stasis. It's always a process to something other, and usually something better. And of course, for the reward is set for his tireless dedication to Wellesley community, for allowing students the interdependence of academic discipline and the elements of lived experience that help shape our world, and for awakening students an abiding love for Africana studies. But you see it right here. Don't spoil my name. Don't spoil my name. Don't spoil my name. Call upon us You, TDT, us. If we have a legacy to carry forward, don't spoil my name. Taught at Harvard. When something happened, you weren't Selman coach, you were a Harvard professor. And you conducted yourself like that. I didn't care where you've been. I got sick once. I was in Strasbourg doing some work at Strasbourg University in French, and my daughter broke a leg. And I went and I go to the embassy, and I said, well, I'm Professor Kutcher. So who are you? They didn't have no cell phone or thing. That was a long time. Called my dean, and in 2 hours, I believe they have CIA there. They have CIA. In 2 hours, they brought my tickets and says it was a strike in Paris. They simply get you to Luxembourg. And the next day, we were out in Luxembourg. We are colleagues. This boss thing, I'm no boss here. We are colleagues, sharing ideas and thinking collectively, rise, as I said, towards higher heights. My next major honor of my teaching, research, and scholarship came. I want the minister, the line minister, to hear that. Mr. Line Minister, I want to hear that. And I want some other people to hear it too. When Kamla Persad Besessa, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, invested me with the Order of the Trinidad and Tobago, the Order of Trinidad and Tobago, the highest civilian award in the country. She offered the following commendation. This is what she says, Mr. David. He said, and I just want to remind you. He contributed greatly to Africana studies and Caribbean literary thought. As a literary scholar, cultural historian, and public intellectual, Professor Cudjoe has led the proverbial charge in decolonizing the Caribbean's intellectual tradition, primarily through the elevation and edification of the African people. I-95 said, me build nothing. So don't get nothing here, Trinidad. I thought that said intellectual thought and transforming. First person to talk about resistance in Caribbean literature. The first scholarly conference on Caribbean women writers. First scholarly conference in C.L.R. James. And we could keep on going. But he ain't building no house. He ain't getting no house. So he failed, and he not even Trinidad. Now, the question with this is, they said here that such a commendation did not prevent the Trinidad Express from offering its invective in the following editorial. Now, thinkers, that's what public intellectuals do. You could stay in your little house and tell them how bright you are. You have to engage the public. Right now, we always need folks. That's why coming to UTT, not just about looking good and making money and things, but you must engage the public. Your obligation as an intellectual is your obligation to speak to the fellow called Edward Said. He has a book called The Role of the Intellectual. Read it. We have an obligation. I don't care if you're in science or art or whatever, you must participate in the national discourse. And here's this, I don't call them silly. The Express says that two of the three individuals who received this country's highest national award, the Order of Trinidad and Tobago, are literary scholars. Both are equal deserving. I ain't lying, that's what they say. But one case, that is Selwyn Kojo, the investment of the Prime Minister in the awards diminishes. That's a nice word. The perception of worthiness. End of quote. And while, of course, Professor Ramchan, a dear friend, Professor Ramchan is a major scholar. He wrote his book called The Western Novelist's Background in 1970, which I read on my trip to Guyana, and which was very important for me and my development. But one thing about scholarship doesn't stay. Next year I wrote a book, 10 years later, talking about the intellectual development going back to the 19th century. Ken stopped in 1908 when he wrote a book by this guy, DeLissa. That's where he stopped. We went further before. So it's a continuous process. So while it praises Professor, this is the editorial, while it praises Professor Kevin Ramchan's selection for his quote-unquote, his extensive knowledge of not only the nation's literature, but the history and culture, it diminishes me when they say that it might seem, hear the nonsense, until I started since 19... My first article appeared in something called The Black World in 1972 out of Detroit. Out of Detroit, Black Aesthetic Movement. That's my first article, 1972. But these folks in the Express will say that extensive, and I might say that at my award, they say might be more seen, appearance, perception, might be seen more as an award of politics than education. So it's ORT, despite being well justified by a scholarly whatever, will be seen as a political award. Right till I working for since 1970. I supported the UNC in 217. Anyhow, there are only 2 points to make about that. First is the distinction between perception and reality, or appearances and reality. There's a fellow called Karl Marx. I don't know if the fellow called Karl Marx. He's one of our most important sociologists. Brother Wilson, this is what Karl says. Talk about appearances and reality, and all the scientists and whatever our great departments are, this is what he says. All science would be superfluous if the outward appearance and the essence of the things directly coincided. Another way of expressing this truth is to say, if appearances or perception were reality, there would be no need for science. As we do scientific experiments, and of course, Mr. President, you're the big science man, Mr. Line Minister, and those experiments must be repeatable. You can't say make all these things and keep in a little thing. Somebody in Germany should be able to repeat those experiments. So it looks good, yes, but we must then use science to evaluate its truth. But precisely because perception or appearance is not the real thing, there's need for science and certainly careful readings to differentiate between these two concepts. In other words, that the Prime Minister invested the RT doesn't necessarily decrease its worthiness, nor for that matter, its validity. She selects the president, doesn't she? And never decreases their work. She selects the Chief Justice. I don't know if that depreciates their worthiness, but this kind of nonsense that passes for intelligence is just stupidity. Among, of course, I always say I'm among the best in the world of what I do. No brag, just fact. No brag, just fact. I will give you 2 examples, then I'll come to an end, sorry. In reviewing my book, Intellectual Tradition in Trinidad and Tobago and the Express, on August 26, 2004, Selwyn Ryan made the following observation, I quote, "In sum, the work is encyclopedic and should be regarded as a seminal reference document, one that can be criticized but not overlooked. Naturally, one cannot, in a column, attempt a detailed analysis of all the various analyses found in the book. Some are rich in their depiction and authoritative in their telling and reading, some less so. Together, however, they constitute, underline that, a major tour de force. And Professor Kudju deserves to be congratulated. We owe him a debt of gratitude for giving the lie to the view that we in Trinidad and Tobago have created nothing that is elevated or worldwide. That goes back to the verse Naipaul, that nothing has been created in Trinidad and Tobago, etc., etc. And when he gave his Nobel Prize speech, he said you go to a French child and they have a whole history. And what I had to prove, we have a whole history too. So therefore, we had to document that. So, in other words, it was important to do that. Last bit and I'll end. And while I'm doing this, I'm saying scholarship has to present itself both as activism and clarifying positions. Never be afraid. We're too frightened here. You're frightened to talk. You're going to lose your work. Oh, yes, all right, there are the jobs. But unless you believe, I said I'm the best. Daisha is the best in what she do. When she comes to me, she's bad. You're going to state her point of view because she believes in what she's doing. And we want that. We want that. Let's fight. Let's argue. But believe in what you're doing. You're good. As the president has said, he talked about our ranking among other institutions. But you think, I ain't too good, boy. I know I'm going to go into a battlefield that way. Mr. Light Minister, we go to the battlefield and go, get doc. You can't go into the war like that. Like how fast he is. Oh, last one. In September 2021, Gillian Matthews, a professor at the University of West Indies, reviewed my most recent book, The Slave Master Trinbago, etc., in the American Historical Review. She made the following remarks about my book. Cudjoe's analysis of the word that Burnley fashioned, or Burnley, my little village. I grew up seeing a big Burnley house. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know it was the most important slave master in the Caribbean. I knew none of his work. I just saw a house playing the Orange Grove Savannah, which you call the Idiot Savannah now. And part of my research began from that little observation. A tiny book, I made a major book that, in fact, was a runner-up for the Bocas Awards and all that stuff. Examination, critical thought, not being afraid. You have a right to be wrong. What do you think you always have to be right? What's all of that nonsense? But this is what she said about my book. Cudjoe's analysis of the world that Burnley fashioned in Trinidad from 1789 to the time of his death in December 1850 is harsh and unflattering. The account is sustained by careful research, primary and secondary sources, including Orange Grove papers and many family letters. I'm not going to take you through the thing, but one more thing I will say about that, and I think the ministry owe me some money. I'm going to tell you why they owe me some money. Mr. Line Minister, I hope you're listening. She talked about the richness of the book, which I won't continue the whole quote. But then, and this is important when you believe in yourself, on June 27th, 2002, Margaret Heath, a member of the William Hardin Burnley family, sent me the following email. Remember, that's the first book on a slave master of Trinbago. And I make again the connection. You can't understand slavery if you understand the master. You can't because I understand the slave and you know what the master is. It's the first book, the only book. And a member of the family sends me this note. It says, "Dear Professor, I thought you might be interested to know that my brother, as executor of my mother's estate, has just informed me that he consigned a trunkful of exclusive papers that belonged to William Hardin Burnley and his son, Frederick Burnley, to Paul Ledow, auctioneers, Carlisle, in London to be sold. I responded immediately, acknowledged my interest in purchasing the archives. I ain't got money like Mr. This year and thing. But I got from a farm that company money as it gets more, right? But it go down. It go down. That's the family I come from. The money gets small. But it don't. That make people integrate. We know that. And so, she said to me that I thought you might be interested. This is a member of the family. The dead coming to life. That's so important about research. She says they belong to the family's son and has now been auctioned in London. I responded immediately, acknowledging my interest in purchasing the archives. She responded to me. As a member of the Burnley family. He dead since 1850. She said, even though you'll buy my book here, she said, I bought your book about William Burnley some time ago, which I read with great interest, especially as to how it fitted. I'm not seeing my last pages. You have the last pages, but I have to go on. I probably left, I'll be sure, let me see, probably left those last pages out, but I can tell you the story. All right. And she says, in terms of how it fitted in, and they wanted me to get the book because I'm the only one. But they had one problem with Burnley's outside woman. She was called Agatha. All them slave masters had outside woman. In fact, he had 2 children with him. And the wife never forgave him. But she said, it's exactly what you say in the book, so you should buy. She says, 2 days later, she says, that in fact it's going to be auctioned off. It was going to be auctioned off, I think I have that part there, auctioned off in London by, in fact, July 2nd and July the 1st. I responded by saying, I couldn't get to London to buy it. And she says one of her family members would buy it. Tell me how much you want to bid for it. And she goes, I give her a figure, and she went to bid. But as she's bidding, somebody's always bidding higher and higher. Higher. But I only give she about, say, I have much money, no, Miss thing. But I said, okay, let's spend about 20,000. I have much, but, I said, get low, you understand? But I always have a little something you could add to the top. But every time she bid it, somebody went higher. And so she had to stop because that was my instructions. This person over there buys the books, buys the archive, and then about 6 months later, I get a call from presumably the person who buys the archives. Because I wasn't there. I'm a black guy, she's white, I don't know who want to get it. And what happens, he calls me to say he has Burnley archives. Am I willing to buy it? Because he knew I was working in Burnley. Now, I had a content boy calling. I said, Conwick, I need a 10,000. Now go to Budlal. I said, Budlal, give me next 5. And at any rate, he came and I bought the archives. And I have the archives in my house right now. Now, I bought it not for me. I didn't want an archives. But a society like these are our properties which we must own. Now, at some time you have to buy it, excuse me, hello. So, no, sorry. But the point is, that's how it came back, and I now have that archive in my house. Which is to say that your research and scholarship are not just simply to be lauded. Our work and our scholarship is supposed to speak for ourselves and our nation. We are always at the behest of our nation. Now, an archive like Burnley is like buying a pound of flour. You only have one archive. And when it's gone, it's really gone. It's really gone this time. So I've got our archives, but I'm saying to you and those winners, by relating these stories, is not simply something to gouge out and look at, but research and teaching is at the center of what we do. And then there's another responsibility. How do we share that knowledge? And how we stop being balkanized in one field or the other. And so therefore, as I look at these presents, these awards to be given out, and why I thought I should tell this story is that sometimes we don't know who you are. People talk a lot of nonsense and whatever. But party this and all kind of stupidity, activists and all that. Suppose sit down and look at wherever. All right? So it seems to me I really want to congratulate those people who have won prizes and to say it is to me when I got my award at Wellesley, and then of course I did other kinds of things, it was one of the most important things to me. The other important things was certainly my Prime Minister awarding me this whatever. However, I think that you've reached, this is a very important moment. Cherish it, but understand there's much left to do. Just think it over. There's much to do. Whether you lead or linger behind, but it's just up to you to decide whether we shall go forward in strength. Mine we name, I want my name again. Now, respect my name. Respect my name. Yeah, do you think going off or what? Respect my name, respect we name. Let us respect the name of UTT and carry it on to higher heights as we do our research and as we do our teaching. Thank you so very much.
Wow. What a mouthful. Intellectual discourse. So, Chairman, you're going to have that course, right? Intellectual. You give us a lot of food. Those people were named Afro-American people and their transformation, about consciousness cannot be replaced by AI. We're still waiting on the threefold synthesis of truth. and a lot of philosophers, Karl Marx, Professor Ryan. I think we had a lot, and thank you very much for your words of wisdom, of encouragement. At this time, we want to call one of our guests in our midst, the president of the University of the Southern Caribbean, Dr. Wilson, to bring greetings. Dr. Wilson.
I think of necessity, the protocols that have already been established should be observed. You would agree? And after that presentation, I think I should just go back and sit down, and because I'm certainly not prepared to make a presentation that comes anywhere close to what I heard. I did meet your chairman in Guyana a week ago and met him at UE this week, and then I got to hear him. I have his book. I have to now read it with the intellectual and contextual background. But I want to thank our minister for allowing me to be here today. Mr. President, thank you for allowing me to be here. And I must say that to the awardees, congratulations. What you have accomplished is an important march in your journey to make a difference not only in the classroom, but also in the implementation of the work that you do as you translate the results of your study into real life situations. And so I say congratulations, and I wish you continued success, and may the work that you do inspire others to do likewise. Thank you very much. I'm going to sit down now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wilson. And we come to a very important part of our program today, where we're going to have our keynote speaker. He's no stranger to UTT. He's no stranger to the academic fraternity. He is our former president, but now Senator, the Honorable Professor Emeritus, Prakash Prasad, Minister of Tertiary Education and Skills Training, to deliver the keynote address. Please welcome our minister.
Good afternoon. Buenos dias. Mawache. See, in recognition of our distinguished chairman and Darwin's lovely dress. It's, Ashanti language for good day. So, distinguished chairman who is international scholar, author, we indeed are privileged to have him as chairman of UTT. Upon the direction of the Prime Minister, I did something that created history because of him. I wrote a note for him to be executive chairman. The only one in any of the state agencies. And that's the regard I have for my distinguished colleague. Also, I want to say to you and to others also, if it is the truth, as they say in Texas, if it is the truth, it's not a boast. So, Chairman, Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, my very, very good friend, Dr. Colwick Wilson, who from the first time we met, he hit it off together. He gave me a lovely gift. I didn't give him anything. But I gave him my friendship. Right. And today, when I was coming, I said to him, you must come with me. So I will look good, travel with a distinguished colleague. So indeed, colleagues, I want to not go through all this, as Ms. said already, and a special welcome to Ms. Julie David, acting president of the Hearst, and the distinguished Professor Alexander. Who is with NGC, and who, Mr. President, Chairman, they're going to give us more money, right? So, just bear that in mind. So, firstly, let me congratulate all the awardees for the teaching and for research. You know, research is important, critical, and it'll come in a short while. So let me just say that, and I think you are doing a wonderful job. The president mentioned about rankings. UTT goes in a special category where universities set up for national development. They're not considered in these sort of rankings that they have. But UTT is doing pretty well, is well recognized. And this is something that we need to go forward to. And also, I see somebody nodding at the back, my former boss before I left the department, Dr. Sangster. We have to acknowledge past bosses, isn't that so, right? So, again, it's a pleasure being here. I just wanted to just give a few comments. Having heard this wonderful, exposition by our distinguished chairman, and I hope researchers took note that research is not for 1 day, 2 days. He has been at this for over 50 years. So it's for the long haul. Research is like a marathon. And I think part of his duties here is to mentor not only the management, but also mentor academic staff. And therefore, I would urge you to draw upon this experience. I won't tell you to sit at his feet, as I said. But, draw upon this experience, as you go forward. You'll get very useful lessons. And Chairman, I know I didn't tell you this before, but I know your nature, and you would certainly accommodate staff in that regard. So, also, I wanted to mention that I came from a meeting this morning where we put together a very high-profile team that included Professor in Practice Sterling Frost, who is the Deputy Chairman of First Citizens Bank, former Deputy CEO of First Citizens Bank, Professor Vijay Narayan Singh, who ranked among the best surgeons in the world, Mr. Peter Elias, who ranks among the best fashionistas in the world, Dr. Ramdeen from the TTMA, to advise the ministry how do we get some of the, commercialize some of the activities. Because the reality is that whilst the university is doing great work, there's no doubt about that, we have to face the economic realities. Now, there's no intention to cut subvention, these sort of things. But if we, earn a bit more, through commercialization, and we have good facilities, and just by way of example, for instance, Texas A&M University, how it started, they were given a huge amount of land. So start your university, and we don't want to hear from you again with regards to money. So the idea of universities being a cost center only, we had a good time, we had a good run. We need to change that. Having said that, I recognize that it cannot happen overnight. So we have distinguished, scholars, right, headed by, from the top, the chairman is a distinguished scholar, the president is a distinguished scholar. We have a lot of good professors around who are distinguished scholars. Professor Alexander, Professor Budlal, they're leading the charge in decarbonization, right, carbon sequestration, etc. It's not so. That is going to bring in income as we go forward. The carbon economy, the green economy. So we have good people, just to name a few. I'm not, because they're my line of sight, I call them. They're good people here, everybody. So, but what each staff member needs to do that. The university, how a university runs, is that the scholars themselves are the ones who raise the reputation of the university. Not the administrators, the scholars. And therefore, as the chairman says, you have to have that belief in yourself. That you're not only the best, you're great and the best. And take it forward. Have that self-belief. It's important that we do that. And the work that you're doing, there are many pioneering pieces of research that's going on at UTT. So we want to push that. And what I'm trying to do, as much as I can, to see how I can set up some mechanism to help this translation from research to commercialization. We need a formalized mechanism. And that's what we're trying to do. With regard to research also, last budget we gave UV, or UV was allocated 10 million as an R&D fund. How much do you think we should give UTT? Chairman? President? So I will make a proposal forward. I don't want 20 million, right? But I'll make a proposal for that UTT also needs to get a research fund. And then we'll... And if we don't get it, I want you to take the chairman and go and see the Prime Minister, let it direct the Minister of Finance. Right, sir? So that we need to, really do that also, right? The other thing about this thing is I am making a proposal. Now, I'm not only short, but I'm short of political experience. I'm trying to navigate the politics. I was told recently, politics is not about logic, And, it's a different field, Art of the morality of its own, but I won't go there. But I think politics, a more standard definition, politics is the art of the possible. So we'll try to see how we can, I've been speaking to UV all the time that this big brother attitude to UTT, the smaller brother better actually. That's the reality, right? So we need to take it forward, but what I want to say is that, and we need support, and the best way to get support and PR is that you must tell your children and family and neighbor and, Tanti and whoever there, that look, that we need to get our scholars here. That's what we need. We have some of the best universities. When scholarship started, the days of Dr. Williams, Dr. Kapildeo, there were no, there was not a genuine university here. We had a college of of tropical agriculture. Yeah. Now we have good universities. Universities are among the top 3% in the world. UTT's own category, as the President mentioned, we are well recognized. Our graduates go everywhere. And I want to say this, that some of the engineering programs, for instance, just as an example, we have accreditation through the British Council. Many universities in Britain cannot get it. But we have it. But for some reason, people don't know it. Solange, you need to go out there and let them know that. In fact, and I'm a double graduate of UWI. Okay? And many of us here are from UWI. And I view UWI as my alma mater. But some of the programs have difficulty in getting the accreditation. Isn't that so, Mr. Amirali? Yes. I'm not saying about no, but I'm saying UTT is ahead. We need to understand that and go forward. So I would think, and the logic is simple. If we send our best brains abroad, who benefits? Not us. We need the best students at UV, UTT, and elsewhere. And in regard to scholarships, I would like to get some feedback. I'm getting, we have to recognize that, at the taxation level, let me put it this way. What good is there if you go to the greatest doctor there is, and the nurses don't take care of you? Nurses run the hospital, What good is the greatest engineer, brightest engineer, goes to work in industry and the technicians don't work with him? Could get nothing done. So what we need to, and this is what I said yesterday at a function at NP, that we need to stop this perception, change this perception that a doctor is more important than a nurse. Both are important. And I would say in some cases, nurse is more important because they keep you alive, they say about you. Right? You go to industry, technicians run the plant. It's not so. So who is more important? We have to stop this idea, this one is more important, that one more important. We all are important. And so the perception that you're going to do a technical, degree, a technician's diploma, these sort of things, is not useful. No, we have to change that. We have to change that mindset. Because actually we need more technicians, we need engineers. We have a critical shortage of nurses. We have an oversupply of doctors. So we need to, so it's a cultural change. No, nobody will listen to me, eh? But you all have to start talking. That's how things get done, when people start talking, all right? And changing the perception. So these are some of the things we're looking at, and in fact, I'm trying to get discussion. UTT is heading that effort to look at, we have voluntary registration of technicians, technologists, craftsmen. And across the board, not only engineering, because allied health institutions, people who take the x-rays, right? A lot of times in the hospital, you go, the MRI machine is down, nobody can fix it. No good thing. So we have to understand that. And like in my case, I need a good cosmetologist, isn't that so? And therefore, cosmetology technicians are critical also, right? I was shocked, somebody told me recently you had to have a month appointment to get your nails done. So you have nail technicians also, so we want to expand technical training across the board. In fact, the founder of Sasha Cosmetics, at the launch of his book, what he said, you know why he went into cosmetics? His mother, Madame Maraj, I don't know if people heard of her, famous woman, all right, with red hair. She would do, hairdressing. And he said to her one day, he's telling her, he said, but the people's hair look really nice, but their faces are terrible. They need good makeup. No, I'm not saying they're ugly. Careful, right? The makeup ain't good. So what's the point having a fancy hairstyle and you have a set of cream, put it all, that's sorry, Hindi word. I mean, you don't have a good base on these sort of things, right? It's not so. You need both, right? So this is something, we have to understand that, we need everybody. And that is what we want to try and, now of course it takes time. I mean, I thought bureaucracy in universities were bad, oh God. I'll say no more there, right? What I wanted to just give a few comments, because this research is important that we understand this, that if we don't have R&D spending, and Chairman will understand that, Dr. Wilson will understand that more, well, you would have experienced it, all right? Then we kind of go forward. Now, I give, and this is not my criticism, it's a historical fact. STEM education is important. Informal sector is what brings people to science and technology and engineering and medicine and etc. We wanted to build a big science center next to Children's Hospital in Cuba. I did, all the design, high-tech stuff, robotic butterflies, robotic lagahoos. No stress, so it was going to be somewhere you want to go and see, all right? So say when children come to the Children's Hospital, because we're looking at medical tourism, you have a park. You see how people go to Disneyland, whatever, you have a park they can go and, all right, these sort of things. I was told, Chairman, I was chairman of the Hills then. I know Julie remember that. How can I answer to people that I gave money for a science park, but I did not build a hospital? Of course, I couldn't answer. So I want to give an answer that's done in literature. It's a misconception, big misconception, that R&D is viewed as a luxury after infrastructure and health, rather than the engine that makes those sectors more efficient. It says, and this is something we all know about, national spending less than 1% or less results in the best scientists, doctors, engineers, and everybody else who wants to go through education to go elsewhere. They leave the country because less than 3% causes low innovation. So what we're saying, if you don't invest in science and technology, and this figure is critical, it says if you spend 1% of GDP on R&D, all right, it says the return is something like 20 to 50%. This is what it just says, 20 to 50%. What creates jobs? So what we're saying is that if you invest in R&D, you're going to create jobs, then you can build more hospitals, make the hospitals more efficient. But we have to invest in R&D. Now, can I tell you what's the figure? The global average of R&D expenditure. R&D doesn't mean contributing to the university. Right now, for tertiary level education, every year, the government gives about $1 billion subvention. That's fine. We need to do that. Every 10 years, we spend about $5 billion on scholarships, majority who are not here. So one may come to, any reasonable person can come to the reasonable conclusion that we are funding the workers in developed countries. Yeah? So global average is 1.95%. Middle income average, Trinidad is middle income, 1.3%. Low income countries, 0.28%. Small island developing states, average 0.05%, sorry, 0.076%. Singapore, small nation, punches above its weight. There's no water there, there's nothing there. Only people with talent and hard-working mentality, 1.85%. Trinidad, 0.05%. So obviously, nobody listens to a minister of tertiary education. You have to do that if you want your children, grandchildren, godchildren, whatever, to live in this country and do well, because we need to improve, right? We need to diversify. We need to create new businesses through innovation. Then we have to, so it's an investment. R&D is not a luxury. For these professors, write abstract articles and drink coffee, no, or tea, right? It's an investment. So we need to do that. So having said that, I think a lot of things we're trying to change. It takes time. And Chairman, we have set up a program, the government, where we want to get doctors, majority of people who got scholarships for medicine still abroad, to do like you. Come back to Trinidad, even for a short while, to contribute to the country. This is important. So, like I say, I am a great believer in change starts from the ground, moving up. And therefore, I got the idea when the chairman walked in with this wonderful music. So I will try a political speech. That you need to go out there and start spreading the message that R&D is important. That's the only way we can go forward. So again, I congratulate all of you. It's wonderful. And could I say, following Chairman's example, the first winner of UTT's research award was me. And that's not a boast, that's a fact. So congratulations to all of you, right? And I think the better you're doing research, David, you know that, right? You were wrong then, right? Yeah, so again, congratulations. And again, it's wonderful being here. And I said, they can take me out of the university, but they can't take the university out of me. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for those words of encouragement. We know that we'll have our subvention will be sustained, we will have it continued, and yes, we will go out and increase our research agenda and as well balance our inflow of income. We are moved to the very important segment of our program today, where we will hear about our awardees. We'll be handing out the various prizes. And to do this, we will begin with the Excellence in Teaching Award. I will call the presenter, which is the program leader, who will read the profile of the awardee, and I'll have the presenter, and they will present the award. So I'll ask you to be seated until your profile is read, and you'll come to the lectern and receive your award. We begin first with the Academy for the Performing Arts. Can I hear a drum roll? Yes, upper. All right. And I'll call Dr. Roger Henry to read the profile of the awardee.
Good afternoon, everyone. With all protocols observed, I'm here to read the bio for Dr. Mia Gormandy Benjamin, the program level winner for the Academy for the Performing Arts. For Mia Gormandy Benjamin, education extends far beyond the classroom. It is about creating the best opportunities for students to grow artistically, academically, and professionally. During her tenure at the University of Trinidad and Tobago, she has championed transformative international experiences, including participation in the Percussive Arts Society International Convention in Indiana, representation at New York University's Steel Band concert, and traveled to Japan for the 2019 pre-Olympic celebrations. These opportunities have always showcased students' talents while connecting them to global professional networks. Her teaching is student-centered, ensuring learners are engaged, prepared, and reflective. She intentionally equips students for the job market by fostering professionalism, discipline, and performance readiness, enabling them to confidently pursue careers within and beyond the cultural sector. As music director of the National Steel Symphony Orchestra, she invites students and graduates to perform alongside Trinidad and Tobago's national pianists, providing invaluable professional experience. She is advancing new international collaborations, including partnerships with Taishan University in China and steel orchestras abroad, expanding pathways for student mobility and global exchange. As chair of the Trinidad All-Stars Steel Orchestra, TASO, Academy, she played a key role in its inception and development. That academy has served over 500 students across Port of Spain, offering equitable access to steel pan education within formal school curricula. UTT students and graduates serve as tutors, gaining hands-on teaching experience. Through her leadership, Dr. Mia Gormandy Benjamin models excellence and professionalism, steadfastly creating meaningful opportunities that empower the next generation of musicians to thrive on the world stage. It's my very great pleasure to have read this bio for my colleague, Dr. Mia Gormandy Benjamin.
And invite our Vice President, Professor Abudlal. Could you make the presentation? Our Vice President Research will make the presentation to Dr. Gormandy. I call on the program leader for the Aviation Institute, Mr. Parashram Jagannath, who will read the profile for Dr. Kelvin Lawton.
Good afternoon. Namaste, Sitaram, Salam Alaikum. Pandit that accolade is greatest in all your achievements, and I recognize you, especially you. I'm here to read on behalf of Dr. Kelvin Lawton, and it's appropriate that I believe our chairman began his presentation with the song, The Lament by Ricky Jai, of Don't Spoil My Name. Dr. Lawton is the antithesis of that lament because he carries the name of his father, Dr. Kelvin Loughton Sr., who is here with him today, and I want to recognize Kelvin Loughton Sr. So he has enhanced that name, he hasn't spoiled it. Dr. Loughton has been part of the University of Trinidad and Tobago community since 2008, first as a part-time instructor and graduate student, after earning his Doctor of Philosophy degree in mechatronics in 2016. He continued his involvement with the former Design and Manufacturing Department until 2018. In 2021, following a postdoctoral fellowship at the University of Surrey, Dr. Loughton returned to UTT as a senior instructor in aviation. He was promoted to assistant professor in January 2024, and later that year was appointed discipline leader of the Aeronautical and Airworthiness Engineering program. Dr. Loughton has strong passion for engineering design and mathematical modeling, which he brings to life through the courses he teaches. He strives not only to educate, but to empower students to confidently apply engineering methodologies to solve real-world problems. I proudly present to you Dr. Loughton, our program level winner at aviation.
Our Vice President, Research, could you read the presentation? Our next program is the Biosciences, Agriculture, and Food Technology program. And I'll call on our Vice President of Undergraduate Studies, Dr. Solange Kelly, to read the profile of the awardee.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Our awardee is no stranger to UTT. Anytime you get a happy good morning or good Monday morning to you, I think everybody can guess who I'm talking about. Our beloved Dr. Andel Edwards, program leader of the Biosciences, Agriculture and Food Technology. Dr. Andel Edwards was born and raised in the beautiful sister island of Tobago. And you want to ensure that I mention that even if I don't mention anything else. From a young age, he was captivated by the mechanisms that allow ruminant species to adapt and adequately utilize coarse feed materials. However, it was through constant interaction and listening to the lamentations of local farmers that his interest shifted from general curiosity, see where it started, to a dedicated pursuit of alternative feeds for ruminant livestock. He completed his PhD in livestock science at the University of the West Indies. His research work has main objectives of evaluating the effect of tannis on the nutritive value of Gliricidia sepium and Leucaena leucocifera. And if you don't know what that means, you get the opportunity to ask Dr. Andel Edwards right after the celebrations. Available to farmers in Trinidad and Tobago. Attention has focused on establishing strategies to which the beneficial effects of tannis can be maximized. Some of his work seeks in part to develop dry season feeding strategies based on tree pods for improved lamb production and to evaluate the health benefits of humans in terms of meat fatty acid composition that could be derived from the presence of tannis in these pods. Please put your hand together to welcome our Bioscience, Agriculture, and Food Technology program level winner, our program leader, Dr. Andel Edwards.
And I'd like to call our AVP HR, Ms. Desha Maxwell, to do us the honor in presenting the award to Dr. Edwards. We now move to the Caribbean Academy of Fashion and Design. That's program. And I call on the program leader, Ms. Patricia Lewis, who would read the profile. And I ask our Assistant Vice President Finance, Ms. Lucy Ann Henrico, to stand by to make the presentation. Sure.
I'm not that short.
Not sure?
This is fine. Good afternoon, everyone. It is my privilege to introduce the recipient for the Caribbean Academy of Fashion and Design Excellent in Teaching Award, Ms. Tonya Sincere. Ms. Tonya Sincere approaches teaching and leading creative labs as a transformative practice, fostering a culture of excellence in design grounded in clarity, rigor, and mutual respect. She creates an engaging and safe environment where all students, both the confident and the timid, feel valued and supported. She often draws on her experience as a student in London to enrich her instruction with practical insight and real-world relevance, believing that creativity diminishes in ambiguity. She communicates her expectations with precision and reinforces learning through demonstrations, structured canvas resources, curated visuals, and in-lab micro-tutorials. Ms. Sincere not only teaches design skills, but also cultivates professional discipline, creative confidence, and independence in her students. An instructor with the Caribbean Academy of Fashion and Design for over 15 years, and a distinguished artist in her own right, Ms. Tonya Sincere remains a valued and respected member of the CAFD community. Her sustained commitment to excellence, artistry, and student development continues to make a lasting impact on the program and its graduates. I welcome Ms. Sincere to receive your award.
Congratulations, Ms. Sincere. We move now to the Center for Education Programs, and it's my pleasure to call the program leader, Dr. Barbara Constance, who will read the profile, and I'll ask our Chief Procurement Officer, Ms. Marsha Prasad Samsonar, to stand by to make the presentation. Dr. Constance.
Thank you, Mr. Manzano. And good afternoon, everyone. It is my pleasure to read on behalf of my colleague, Ms. Alison Mitchell, who is also the discipline leader administrator for the Terminal Journey campuses. So, Ms. Alison Mitchell is a senior instructor at the Center for Education Programs. She has been an educator for nearly 46 years, serving as a retired principal. She has teaching experiences at the primary and secondary levels.
She earned her bachelor's degree from York University in Toronto and her master's degree from the Ontario Institute for Studies in Education, University of Toronto. Passionate about education, she embraced the opportunity to work at the University of Trinidad and Tobago as a teacher educator. Seeing it as a chance to impact society more broadly beyond a single school, she is deeply humbled by this award and accepts it on behalf of her colleagues at the CEP, whose teaching also exemplifies excellence. She wanted to add that in. Okay, so let's put our hands together for Miss Alison Mitchell. Please accept your award.
We're moving along, and we move now, Excellence in Teaching Award, to the Center for Information and Communications Technology. Program leader, Professor Yufi Wu, will read the profile, and I'll ask our guest, Ms. Julie David, President of NIHUS, to stand by to make the presentation.
Thank you. Hi. I'm happy here to introduce my colleague, Kellyanne. Where is Kellyanne? Okay. Yeah. Okay. She is instructor 2 of Center for ICT. She has 15 years experience in industry and teaching and research. She has a degree in computer engineering, a master degree in computer engineering, and also a postgraduate diploma in cybersecurity. So her teaching style and methods are appreciated by students. So personally, I like her teaching style, the project-based, right? Hands-on based, practical oriented. So I really want her to be promoted to senior instructor for the next academic. With such a valuable employee, right? So still instructor 2, right? So really appreciate it. Consider that. So welcome, Kellyanne. Where is she?
Carry on. Yeah. We welcome Ms. Carrie-Ann Survey and Ms. David. Excellence in Teaching Award, Center for Kinesiology, Physical Education and Sport. I call on the program leader, Dr. Kerry Dalloway, to read the profile, and Ms. David, stand by to also make a presentation. Dr. Dalloway.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure for me to read the notation from Mr. Kyle Hannes on this Excellence in Teaching Award. But before I start, I want us just to understand who this person is. Mr. Hannes was a graduate of the University of Trinidad and Tobago. He graduated from the Center for Education. He did the physical education specialization. And I had the privilege of teaching him for 3 years, right? He wasn't the best student, but he's now getting an award for teaching. Mr. Hannes went on, he did his master's degree at Xavier University. He came back and volunteered teaching at our department for, I think, 6 years. And then he eventually came on as an instructor too. So Mr. Hannes, his teaching philosophy is grounded in the belief that education should empower students to think critically, to act ethically and perform confidently in real-world environments. Through applied learning, mentorship, and experiential activities, he strives to create classrooms where theory comes to life, where students move beyond memorization to understanding, reflection, and professional readiness. Drawing on his experience as a national tennis coach here in Trinidad and Tobago, and also his experience as a fireman in the emergency services, he integrates practical situations or simulations in the classrooms, case-based discussions, and problem-solving tasks to help students build competence and confidence. Currently, he's pursuing his PhD in kinesiology, and Mr. Hane's works focus on developing a national coaching standard framework for Trinidad and Tobago. And above all, he views this award as a reflection of his students' engagement, growth, and commitment to excellence. Mr. Hanes, congratulations to you, sir.
We now move to the Center for Maritime and Ocean Studies, Marine Sciences, and I call on our Assistant Vice President of Undergraduate Studies, Dr. Solange Kelly, to read the profile, and I'll ask our AVP RIPS, Professor El Gamal, stand by to make the presentation. Dr. Kelly.
This wonderful recipient for the Center for Maritime and Ocean Studies, Marine Sciences, Dr. Ria Guppy, is one versatile young lady. Did I tell you she's a deep sea diver? She's a seamstress, she's a cook, and she's a mentor. Dr. Ria Guppy has been with UTT Marine Sciences for over 16 years and have lectured across 31 courses, 24 undergrad, 7 postgrad, in areas such as marine ecosystem ecology, environmental health and disease, animal physiology, marine biotechnology, climate change, and environmental management, to just name a few. With over 30 years as a marine ecologist, clearly you started when you were about 2. With over 30 years, having worked in several countries, she is instrumental in the design and implementation of the Marine Sciences program. She has supervised over 70 postgraduate and undergraduate theses and contributed to 9 books, book chapters, 23 peer-reviewed journal articles, 11 local, regional, and international conferences, 38 consultancies. Dr. Guppy strived to generate an atmosphere that inspires, and that is very true, engage and involve all within the classroom. She also provides encouragement to her students, motivates them, and promotes mutual respect. It's my privilege to welcome Dr. Ria Guppy, recipient of the Program Level Award for the Excellence in Teaching Award for the Marine Sciences.
And we move to our next program within the Center for Maritime and Ocean Studies, Maritime Studies. I asked the program leader, Mr. Stefan Nanan, to read the profile of Ms. Suzette Balkaran.
Good afternoon, everyone. All protocols observed, and it is an honor, I will say, to be in the presence of such greatness this afternoon. And while we could focus on the front row, I'm speaking about the second row, the third row, all the rows to the door. It is a privilege to introduce my colleague, Ms. Suzette Balkaran. Suzette is a 3-time graduate of the University of Trinidad and Tobago. She was a part of the second cohort of maritime students to enter the programs in Trinidad and Tobago. She graduated from the Diploma in Maritime Operations Engineering. Then she moved on to the BSc in Nautical Science, Maritime Operations, and completed the MSc in Maritime Operational Management. So she is somewhat of a career student on the campus. She is a maritime educator, energy efficiency specialist, and gender equality advocate dedicated to advancing sustainable, data-driven, and inclusive maritime development, not just across the Caribbean, but globally. She is now the discipline leader of the marine engineering courses at UTT. She's a senior instructor, and as a former student of the university, she is passionate about creating a holistic and transformative learning experience that strengthens student growth and professional readiness. Her teaching philosophy is student-centered and inclusive, recognizing diverse styles and fostering engagement through practical exercises, discussions, and collaborations. She integrates strong analytical expertise in her teaching, drawing on her experience in maritime data collection, energy efficiency, vessel performance monitoring, fuel consumption analysis, and emissions reporting, and also as her time as an engineering cadet at sea. She has led regional initiatives establishing greenhouse gas baseline and developing digital reporting systems to support data-driven maritime operations. On the research end, she serves as the Energy Efficiency Advisor within the Maritime Technology Cooperation Center for the Caribbean, supporting decarbonization and pilot projects. And that's a bit of an understatement. Suzette is a key member in a team whose research has reached the International Maritime Organization and is shaping the international conventions on maritime decarbonization. And that research is coming right out of the northwestern peninsula of Trinidad. She recently served as Vice President of Research and Development for Women in Maritime Association in the Caribbean, advancing gender equity through research and mentorship, and as the Secretary of Trinidad and Tobago Maritime Officers Association, promoting training excellence and cadet development. She is currently pursuing a PhD in maritime education, and she remains committed to lifelong learning, research, and empowering the next generation of maritime professionals. So we look forward to Suzette continuing her upward growth and one day leading maritime studies. It is a pleasure to introduce the program leader winner for maritime studies, Ms. Suzette Balkaran.
I could ask Professor Algaba, could you make your presentation? We move to the Energy Systems Engineering program, and I'll call Dr. Solange Kelly to read the profile of Professor Alexander.
It is my pleasure to read the profile of Professor David Alexander, who wears many hats around Trinidad, Tobago, UTT, everywhere. Professor David Alexander has devoted over 20 years to teaching and sharing knowledge in the area of pure mathematics and sciences to the field of energy and petroleum engineering. His approach to teaching emphasizes clarity, relevance, and the connection between theory and practice, helping students develop both strong technical foundations and practical problem-solving skills. He teaches across undergraduate and postgraduate programs and integrates real-world case studies, simulation, and research-informed content into his courses. Professor Alexander is also deeply committed to student mentorship. He has supervised and guided a wide range of undergraduate and postgraduate projects, supporting students through their academic development and into professional practice. His teaching is closely aligned with practical energy and sustainability challenges, ensuring that learning remains meaningful and applied, a signature of the UTT lecturer. Currently, some of his core areas of teaching include reservoir engineering, fluid flow, enhanced oil recovery, and on and on. He has, I have pages for Professor David Alexander, but they will only allow me this amount of time. Thank you, Master of Ceremonies. I would like to welcome and congratulate Professor David Alexander, our Energy Systems Engineering winner.
I'll ask our president if he could make this presentation, please. Thanks. We go to Foundations and Prior Learning, and I ask the program leader, Dr. Cumberbatch, to read the profile for Ms. Monica Boudan.
Good afternoon once again, ladies and gentlemen. Monica Boudan is a distinguished physicist and a staunch advocate for quality, non-discriminatory education with 17 plus years experience in tertiary level teaching and 18 plus years in renewable energy technologies. Internationally, she has served as an expert trainer in solar energy with a reach extending from the Caribbean to Bangladesh. In TNT, she has been instrumental in the Train the Trainer program, empowering educators in the renewable energy and energy efficiency project, achieving remarkable milestones inclusive of the training of 180 plus school teachers, delivery of 12 webinars, reaching 1,000 plus students across 69 schools, and spearheading the design and creation of 450 specialized teaching kits to support curriculum delivery in primary and secondary schools. Monica visits remote and underserved communities where she educates the residents on the importance of renewable energy and energy efficiency and conservation. Monica is a globally recognized figure in the desalination sector and holds several high-profile leadership roles, such as the current first vice president of the Caribda and the former regional representative for the IDRA YLP 2015 to 2022. She has received several awards for her exemplary work, including UTT's 2023 EITA Program Level Award, Caribda's 2022 Presidential Award, and IDRA's 2019 Emerging Leader Achievement Award. She has managed international projects, served as technical chair at conferences, and as a committee member planning numerous conferences and workshops globally. Moreover, Monica's research has been published in international peer-reviewed journals, and she is currently pursuing her doctoral studies in energy systems modeling. Lastly, She is the recipient of numerous prestigious grants from organizations and governments, including the ICTP, IAEA, and the European Union, IBM, Aquatech, DIWA, and the People's Republic of China, and the WE Foundation, to attend conferences, academic exchanges, workshops, etc., where she enthusiastically represents her country and the University of Trinidad and Tobago. It is my distinguished honor to be able to present to you this afternoon the program level winner for Foundations and Prior Learning, Ms. Monica Boudan.
I'll ask our president to make the presentation. We move to the Health Sciences and Health Administration program. I call on Ms. Amanda Carrington to read the profile for Ms. Caroline Stevens.
Good afternoon. On behalf of Dr. Karen Bear, who would have loved to deliver this herself, I have the pleasure of introducing the recipient of the Health Sciences and Health Administration Award, Ms. Caroline Stevens. My colleague, Ms. Stevens, is a dedicated lecturer whose teaching is grounded in a deep commitment to equity, critical thinking, and real-world relevance. Her academic work spans health system strengthening, primary health care, health policy and governance, family dynamics, mental health, and the social determinants of health, with a strong focus on the Trinidad and Tobago context and comparable Caribbean countries. Ms. Stevens is widely recognized for her student-centered and reflective teaching style. She brings complex concepts such as health systems thinking, policy analysis, ethics, and program evaluation to life through interactive learning, case studies, and practical applications that connect theory to lived experience and professional practice. Her classrooms are intentionally designed as safe, inclusive spaces that encourage dialogue, collaboration, and critical inquiry. Ms. Stevens' teaching is informed by her active engagement in research, curriculum development, and professional training across the health sector. She is deeply invested in mentoring students and health professionals, fostering not only academic excellence, but empathy, leadership, and social responsibility. Her work consistently bridges academia and practice, empowering learners to understand health systems as dynamic, human-centered, and responsive to community needs. I have seen Ms. Stevens grow from a research assistant to a wonderful instructor too, and I can't wait to see you become a lecturer one day. I am pleased to welcome Ms. Caroline Stevens.
Can I ask Dr. Wilson, could you make a presence for her? I'll ask Dr. Wilson, the president of USC, to make the presentation. Congratulations. We now move to the Institute of Criminology and Public Safety. I call on program leader Dr. Linda Mohammed to read the profile for Ms. Vidya Lal.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm very honored to be reading the bio of the ICPS ITA recipient, Ms. Vidya Lal. Ms. Vidya Lal is currently a senior instructor at the Institute of Criminology and Public Safety and has been attached to the University of Trinidad and Tobago since 2007. Excuse me. Her current teaching portfolio includes sociology of the Caribbean, workplace safety and violence, restorative justice, and green criminology. She has also taught or offered teaching support for courses on children and crime, school violence and delinquency, crime prevention and community safety, disaster and risk management, community policing, and gangs, youth violence, and public safety. She serves as academic supervisor and personal tutor for the year-long research project in criminology. Her research interests include refugees, migrants, and persons on the move in the Caribbean, juvenile delinquency in schools and children in conflict with the law, green crimes, environmental governance and security in small island developing states, and crime prevention, community, and citizen security. Together with her ICPS colleagues, she is currently conducting research studies on gender-based violence and access to resources by Venezuelan migrants in Trinidad and Tobago, cyberbullying in the workplace, crime trends and analysis, and the use of green spaces and public safety. She has authored and co-authored 18 policy reports, journal articles, and newspaper briefs, presented over 12 academic papers and over 30 attended over 30 international conferences and workshops. In addition to her teaching portfolio and research, she serves as the managing editor of the Institute's quarterly newsletter, Spotlight on Crime and Public Safety. She is also the chair of the unit's student recruitment and marketing as well as technology committees. She is an active volunteer with the UE Alumni Mentorship Program. Ms. Lal was the program level winner for the ITA in 2021 and again in 2023, and she has topped the title for the third time this year. I now encourage you to welcome her with a round of applause, Ms. Vidya Lal.
I ask Dr. Wilson once again to do the honors for us. We now move to the Excellence in Teaching Award for the Mechanical Engineering, Manufacturing, and Entrepreneurship. I call on program leader, the minister's former boss, Dr. Nadine Stangster, to read the profile for Mr. Deirsaran Budram.
Good afternoon, everyone. And Ms. Dano, I'm going to use your script. You're thankful for that, right? I am Dr. Nadine Sangster, and I have the pleasure of introducing the recipient of the Program Level Award for the Mechanical Engineering, Manufacturing, and Entrepreneurship Unit, Mr. Deirsaran Budram. Congratulations, Deirsaran. Deirsaran Budram is a senior instructor in the MME unit at UTT. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Mechanical Engineering and a Master's degree in Production Engineering and Management with distinction. He taught at the secondary school level for 5 years and at the technical institution, John S. Donaldson Technical Institute, for 14 years, and has spent close to 20 years in the university system. And now we're going to get a little taste of who he is. With divine blessing and guidance, he has been given the opportunity to assist in molding and preparing youths with quality education to enrich their quality of life. He thanks the university for this award and expresses appreciation to the many individuals for their support and encouragement, especially his family, and he has his wife here, and colleagues in his department. Congratulations, dear Saran. Please join us.
I'll ask the Minister Advisor, Mr. Rajesh Sinanan, to make this presentation for us. We move to process and processing, process engineering unit. Yes, we are processing excellence as well, right? Process engineering unit. I call on program leader, Dr. E.J. John, to read the profile for Rihanna Ali.
I'm just going to move it to the side. Right? Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. So, well, as many of you know, I'm Dr. E.J. John, and I have the distinct pleasure of introducing the recipient of the Excellence in Teaching Award at the program level for process engineering, Ms. Rihanna Ali. So, Rihanna, first I want to say that she's actually been nominated for this award several times, so we're really happy that she won this time. I am very proud of her. Right? She's a senior instructor within the process engineering program with experience spanning both industry and tertiary education. Her teaching philosophy is grounded in the belief that engineering education should be practical, relevant, and supportive, preparing students not only to pass exams, but to succeed in real engineering environments. Drawing on her background as a process engineer, Rihanna connects theory to practice through hands-on learning, simulations, laboratories, and application-based projects. She places a strong emphasis on clear communication, fair and transparent assessment, and student mentorship, creating a learning environment where students feel encouraged to engage, ask questions, and build confidence. In addition to classroom teaching, Rihanna contributes actively to curriculum development, accreditation exercises, and the integration of sustainability and green engineering principles across process engineering programs. This Excellence in Teaching Award recognizes her commitment to student development, academic quality, and the ongoing advancement of engineering education at UTT. Congratulations, Ms. Ali.
So I'll call Dr. Kelly to make this presentation. Look at it. We move now to the Excellence in Teaching Award in the Project Management and Civil Infrastructure Systems program. I call on program leader Dr. Arma Chimchami to read the profile for Dr. Damian Alexander.
Good afternoon, everyone. I have the pleasure in introducing the recipient for the Program Level Award for Project Management and Civil Infrastructure System, Dr. Damian Alexander. Dr. Alexander is a registered geotechnic engineer with the Board of Engineers of Trinidad and Tobago. He is also the senior instructor at UTT and our discipline leader in the Bachelor's of Applied Science in Civil Engineering Systems. His work is centered on foundation, not only just the physical sense of soil mechanics and geotechnical engineering, but also in academic sense of building a resilient future for our student. Dr. Alexander teaching philosophy bridges the gap between complex theoretical mechanics, and practical sustainable engineering tailored to our unique Caribbean landscape. He achieves this by bridging his knowledge and practical industry examples in bringing his knowledge and practical industry example into the classroom, ensuring students is ready to function at the highest level. He believes an educator's role is to provide the structural support students need to navigate the challenges of the field, equipping them with critical thinking skills and building a safe, more stable world. Please welcome Dr. Damian Alexander.
I could ask our president, Professor Maraj, could you make this presentation? Thank you, Prof. We move to Excellence in Teaching Award for Utilities and Sustainable Engineering. I ask our AVP undergrad, Dr. Solange Kelly, to read the profile for Mr. Ansar Hussain.
So final recipient in the Excellence in Teaching Award is Mr. Ansar Hussain. Mr. Ansar Hussain has been recently appointed one of the discipline leaders in the Utilities and Sustainable Engineering Unit. Congratulations, sir. Mr. Hussain has served as a senior instructor at the Utilities and Sustainable Engineering Unit for the past 9 years, where he has lectured in the field of instrumentation, industrial control systems, microcontrollers, and telecommunications. Before joining UTT, he worked as an electrical and instrumentation engineer and later contributed to industry advancement as a university consultant. This blend of professional practice and academic expertise, and this blend which we are seeing in every one of our winners, allows him to connect engineering theory with real-world applications in ways that resonate deeply with his students. His teaching philosophy is rooted in inspiring future engineers and technicians, equipping them to meet the challenges and responsibilities of tomorrow, and ultimately contributing to the progress and upliftment of our nation. Please join with me in congratulating our final recipient, Mr. Ansar Hussain.
Yes. Professor Al-Gamal, could you make this? And could we put our hands together for all the excellent teaching? Yes! Congratulations to all our excellent teachers, and I know that you will continue to do a marvelous job and just increase and increase to perfection as we move along. As I indicated, this is the first cycle that we're going to have excellence in research. And we are about that point now where we're going to look at those who won in the category of excellence in research. It's the three categories. The first one is the most promising researcher, the research student researcher. I will call on Dr. E.J. John, who will read the profile for Ms. Safia Wahid. This is yours.
right. Right. Good afternoon again, everyone. I'm Dr. John, and I now have the pleasure of introducing the recipients of our Excellence in Research Award for our instructor level. All right. The winner is Ms. Sophia Wahed. She holds a Bachelor's of Science degree in Chemical Engineering from UWI, but she has done her Master's of Philosophy in Process Engineering right here in UTT. Prior to being an academic at UTT, Ms. Wahed worked in the biofuel industry as an operations supervisor. She currently holds the position of discipline leader of the Certificate in Process Operations program, which is one of our larger programs in process engineering. Her research area is sustainable chemical engineering as guided by the Vision 2030 National Development Strategy of TNT. Her focus on waste minimization and pollution reduction in Trinidad and Tobago established a model for the design of an industrial absorber utilizing an adsorbent from locally derived waste materials. And it serves as the basis for further work on the optimization of its performance. Ms. Wahed holds 2 teaching awards already, the City and Guilds Gold Medal of Excellence for the oil and gas sector in 2015, and UTT's own Excellence in Teaching Award for Process Engineering in 2021. So I'm so glad that she can now add to this repertoire her Excellence in Research Awards at the instructor level. Congratulations, Sophia.
I'd like to invite Dr. Sangster to make this presentation. Dr. Nadine Sangster. Thank you. And some of the things that Sophia had to go through was in terms of her research originality, innovation, the quality and relevance of her publication, the evidence and the impact within the field or the community, her engagement as a mentee with mentors and collaboration and her outreach. These are some of the criteria that Sophia went through and all the others. So I just want to give you a little insight. It's not a token we're handing out. They really work hard to attain these results. I'm moving to the next category, early career, excellence in research, early career. And what were they adjudged? What were the criteria? Peer-reviewed publications were looked at and citations, research impact at institutional, national, or sector level, external research and grant funding secured, presentation at national and international forums, graduate, undergraduate supervision, interdisciplinary or collaborative research efforts, and evidence of innovation or practical applications. Having gone through the criteria, I would like to invite Professor Adel Elgamal to read the profile for the winner in this category, Dr. Curtis Boudou.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is my privilege to introduce one of the promising young researchers at UTT, the winner of the Excellence in Research Early Career. This is Dr. Curtis Boudou. Dr. Boudou is an assistant professor in the Utilities and Sustainable Engineering at UTT, focused on clean energy and electric mobility for small islands, developing states. Dr. Boudou chairs the CARICOM Electric Vehicle Work Group, advancing regional EV electric vehicle strategy, standards and implementation, and served as a consultant for the Public Transport Service Corporation, PTSC, on their electric bus project and the charging infrastructure. He served as a consulting engineering to the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, in Trinidad and Tobago, supporting renewable energy projects aligned with the country's nationally determined contribution priorities. In this role, he designed and commissioned 18 solar PV installation nationwide, including a flagship system on the Office of the Prime Minister, further extending his leadership in the national energy sector. He was appointed as a commissioner to the board of the Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission T&TEC in June 2025. Dr. Bodo is a member of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC, roster of experts, and an International Electrotechnical Commission, IEC, expert with SEG4 on low voltage direct current applications. He also served the education sector as a chief examiner for CAPE Electrical and Electronic Technology at the Caribbean Examination Council. Alongside his academic and advisory roles, he is a prolific public educator, having published 15 articles in the Daily Express on energy, transport, technology, and climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my privilege to introduce Dr. Curtis Bodo. Congratulations.
We ask our Vice President of Research. Our second recipient of the Excellence in Research Early Career is Dr. Amalia Hussain, and I'm going to call Dr. Ria Gopi, who would read the profile for Dr. Hussain.
Thank you. Not as bad as EJ, but almost, almost. So it's my pleasure to read out the bio for Dr. Amalia Hussain Budai. She's actually joined Marine Sciences in 2020. Previously, she was in the biomedical engineering department, but she is now an assistant professor within the Marine Sciences unit, where she serves currently as a discipline lead for the postgraduate research program, and previous to that, our diploma program. Trained in biomedical engineering, epidemiology, and biostatistics, her work integrates molecular genetics, environmental health, and population science to address cancer and cardiovascular disease disparities in Caribbean communities. She is a co-investigator on the African Cancer Genome Registry and contributes to the, this is a long one, Chan Zuckerberg Initiative African Caribbean Single Cell Network, advancing genomic equity for people of African ancestry. Dr. Hussain Budai has contributed to over 30 peer-reviewed publications, contributed to 2 book chapters, and also 3 technical reports. She currently supervises 12 MPhil and PhD students across biomedical engineering, public health, environmental studies, and biotechnology. And of course, that biotechnology also includes marine biotechnology as well. She has secured more than $375,000 US in competitive international funding and leads regional initiatives to improve metastatic breast cancer care and survivorship. A Springer Nature Rising Scholar, she has published extensively on cancer epidemiology, health system innovation, and risk prediction models tailored to multi-ethnic populations. It's my pleasure to have Amalia come up to receive her award. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I promise you we're near the end, but we have to pause for a good cause because I don't want to rush you to the end. It's the height of our awardees where we go at the senior level. And to prepare you for that, we have an interlude, a musical interlude by Miss Elizabeth Wardron. The song is entitled We Are UTT, written by Naomi Phil, a past student of UTT. You should have a copy of the We Are UTT so you can follow along with Elizabeth. Oh, is a trio? Yeah. Trio, okay. All right.
Yeah. Hello, good day. Hi, good day. Please feel free to sing along with me, okay? From a tropical twin isle, bright a bright light, guiding our people onto higher heights, forged from the love of excellence and desire to liberate our people, starting in the mind. UTT is our name. We are a shooting flame from a tiny island to the worldwide stage. We are the dreamers, we are achievers, we are the leaders, we are UTT. We're innovators, movers and shakers from Trimbago, changing our world, changing our world, lighting up our world, lighting up our world. We are UTT. Hand in hand we strive with the knowledge in our mind, lifting our hands onto higher heights. Rise up, sons and daughters, the time has come to shine. Represent with pride and excellence in our stride. UTT is our name. We are a shooting flame from a tiny island to the worldwide stage. We are the dreamers, we are the leavers, we are the leaders, we are UTT. We're innovators, movers and shakers from Trimbago, changing our world, changing our world, and lighten up our world, changing our world and changing our world, and lighten up our world. We are UTT. We are the dreamers, we are the leavers, we are the leaders, we are UTT. We're innovators, movers and shakers from Trimbago, changing our world. Can I hear you all? Changing our world, lighting up our world, lighting up our world. We are UTT.
Yes, we are UTT, okay? Could you put your hands again together for UTT? Excellence in teaching, excellence in research, excellence in service. We are just an excellent university. Wonderful, wonderful. We move now to the institutional level. We had the program level. They would have competed, went through a rigorous process. Now we're going to look at those at the institutional level. And the first category, Excellence in Teaching Award, you heard this person, you heard about them, someone read the profile. I would like, let us be very resolute in this because we're raising the bar, right? Excellence in Teaching Award, institution level, goes to none other than Miss Monica Bodan. Whoa! Yes! Whoa! And I want to invite the 2023 winner, Mr. Aaron Amirali, who's here to join the president to make this award to Ms. Bodan. So please join us at the front. Yes! Whoa! Yes! Excellence in teaching, institution level. And now we go to excellence in research, institution level. Peer-reviewed publications, citations, research impact at institutional, national level, external grants and funding secured. I just want to highlight three significant areas, impactful areas, in terms of the research. In the area of publications, within our finalists here, there were over 50 peer-reviewed publications, Mr. Minister, over that period of assessment. Postgraduate supervision amounted to over 30 within the assessment period, and grants as well. Only yesterday, just this week, UTT was the recipient of $64 million in software for our energy engineering, system engineering program. So, Mr. Minister, we are working on it. We are securing funding in kind as well, because the software is very expensive, but we were able to get that invested in the university to put to use within our students. We had 2 winners in this category. Firstly, I would want to announce Dr. Ria Gopi. Come on, yes. And I will call on our chairman, Professor Kojo, if he can make this presentation to Dr. Gopi, one of the awardees for excellence in research at the senior level. Dr. Gopi. And the next winner is none other than Professor David Alexander. And I must just make, based on the information I have, Professor Alexander, out of the 50 peer-reviewed publication, 30 alone was as a result of Professor Alexander's work at UTT. Minister. Could we have the Honorable Minister make this presentation to Professor Alexander. Is that check? And award? All right. Yes, could we give a round of applause for all our researchers? And that is what we're talking about when you talk about excellence in research, excellence in teaching, and the next installment will be excellence in service. Yes, our president is saying, you want performance? Give them performance, UTT, performance. Give them performance. And I think it's well fitting for UTT. So we come to a close, and I will invite Professor Elgamal and Dr. Solange Kelly to give the closing remarks and the vote of thanks.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, all protocols observed, colleagues, awardees, nominees, students, family members, and friends. On behalf of the University of Trinidad and Tobago, it's my pleasure, me and Dr. Solange Kelly, to offer congratulatory remarks at this Excellence in Teaching and Research Awards ceremony. Today, we celebrate the outstanding contributions of our colleagues and students whose excellence continues to strengthen UTT.
This ceremony reminds us of the depth of talent, dedication, and impact across our UTT. We are proud to recognize excellence in both teaching and research, and to honor individuals whose work inspires our students, advances knowledge, and contributes to national development.
We extend sincere thanks to our keynote speaker, Senator, the Honorable Professor Emeritus Prakash Prasad, Minister of Tertiary Education and Skills Training, for his presence and contribution to today's ceremony. We are also grateful to Professor Emeritus Selwyn R. Kojo, ORTT, and the Chairman of UTT Board of Governance, and to our President, Professor Yan Maharaj, for their continued support of excellence at UTT.
We also acknowledge Professor Donny Budlal, Vice President of Research, Academic and Students Affairs, for his endless support, leadership in advancing UTT's academic research and research agenda. A very special thank you to our Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Darwin Manzano, for guiding the program so graciously, and to Dr. Edward Cumberbatch for his national anthem. Thank you.
We warmly thank our special invited guests who presented the awards, and all distinguished presenters and guests, including representatives from UTT and our valued external partners and institutions. Indeed, your participation has added great significance to this celebration.
And to all our awardees in excellence in teaching and excellence in research, congratulations. Your achievements reflect the values and aspirations of UTT, and we are proud to celebrate you. To all nominees, congratulations as well. Your nomination is itself a mark of distinction and respect from your peers and your students.
We also thank the program leaders who introduced the awardees and helped us appreciate not only their names, but the substance and impact of their work. We acknowledge the members of the undergraduate and postgraduate studies teams and all supporting committees for their hard work in making this event possible.
Special thanks to Dr. Nadine Sangster and Jenny Lynn Maraj for leading the Excellence in Research Committee, Ms. Keisha Dano, Dr. Loris Phillips, and Sharona for leading the Excellence in Teaching Committee and coordinating the administrative arrangements for today's ceremony. Thanks to the Office of Undergraduate Studies and the Office of Postgraduate Studies.
We also extend our appreciation to TLIS, Corporate Communications, IT, Facilities, and all contributors behind the scenes, including those who supported the anthem and the musical interlude. Your professionalism and teamwork made today's ceremony a success. Thank you.
Finally, thank you to all friends, families, well-wishers for joining us to celebrate UTT's excellence. Your presence has made this occasion even more meaningful.
So again, please join us once more in congratulating all nominees and awardees in teaching and excellence in research. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you again, and have a safe and pleasant afternoon. All recipients of awards, we need to have your photos taken, so please, if you could stay back a bit. Thank you to all our invited guests, and the celebration continues. This formal event is over. Thank you.